Hello, y'all. It's your main man E here from Follow the Leader Canine, and I'm here with Lula. Lula is a great dog. Definitely been through some difficult stuff in her life, but she got adopted, and we're getting her straightened out in terms of teaching her obedience. So I just want to go through my process of teaching a new dog the sit command and the down command. Typically, we're going to teach commands in pairs, so we'll teach sit and we'll teach down at the same time, or we'll teach heel and sit. I tend to let the dog decide what commands they prefer to learn first, and we kind of proceed with them as they naturally progress to new commands. So this dog is already started doing sits and downs. However, we have not named those commands, and we haven't really marked those commands thoroughly enough with our marker words, good and yes, to create a lot of enthusiasm around doing those commands. So this session is primarily just going to be using marker words to mark the moment she goes into the right command and then reward her afterwards. We are using treats in this case. This dog has a pretty low food drive, so we are using treats, and there is some kibble mixed in there with the treats. So to start out the session, I'm just going to good, and I'm just going to pay her for standing here. I'm going to get some food in my hand, kind of hold it up like this. Yes. And I'm going to say yes, which is a terminal marker. That means the dog is done with their sit. They can get up and they can come to me and get the food reward. Yes. So often we rush to name these commands before the dog truly finds value in doing the command, or they're doing the command with a lot of enthusiasm. Lula. Yes. Once I get 10 of a particular commands in a row, only then would I really consider possibly naming that command. Yes. The moment I see her rear end hit the ground, I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to have her come to me and get the food. When we're trying to build up speed into commands and get the dog to do the commands quickly, a lot of times we're better off just using that terminal marker than trying to have them stay in that command for a long period of time when they're really just first learning how to enjoy going into that position. At this point, I'm actually not going to have the food in my hand. Yes. So I'm already fading out the food in my hand in this particular command. That way, when I reintroduce the food into my hand and I start to lure her into a down position, it's going to be clear to her, oh wait, this is something different. The food is in his hand and he's moving it around. Yes. Notice I'm rewarding both with the dog being in front of me and the dog being to the side of me. A lot of times when we're out in public with the dog, we really want the dog kind of back here. So be aware, if you're always rewarding commands in front of you, your dog is going to find a lot of value in being in front of you constantly. Yes. So right there, I'm even fading out the hands entirely because I noticed she was just staring at my hands. I really want eye contact from the dog. Once they've understood a command, I should fade out, yes, the luring as soon as possible. And you'll oftentimes see dogs who, even though they've been doing commands for 5 years, the owner always has to pretend that there's food in the hand in order to get the dog to do the command. That's different than a hand signal, okay? Pretending you have food and like essentially tricking the dog, that's completely different than you actually trained the dog with a hand signal. Lula, sit. Good. So in this particular case, I named it because I knew she was going to do that command. I watched her and her butt started to move down, so at that moment it was moving down. Sit. I called it sit. Yes. At this point, I'm just waiting for her hunger to come around and for her to get a little bit frustrated and say, hey, you know, what's up with the food you had? Can you give me the food, please? As long as I, yes, have her attention here, I'm going to just wait. If I notice she's wandering off and she's losing hope in getting a reward from me, I may need to reintroduce the lure again and remind her, hey, look, there's food that's going to come if you do this. Oftentimes, dogs like this that don't do commands quickly or they don't do them on the first prompt is because at some point this happened and rather than wait for the dog to just come to that conclusion on their own, we say the word over and over again or we start doing all these hand motions and the dog really, they just get confused. Yes. So there you saw, I just waited, and in fact, I even stopped looking at her because I was kind of like, hey, look, that's not what I'm wanting. So by me staring at you as you're just looking at me like, hey, is this the right thing? I may be reinforcing that kind of like stand command. Good. I am going to just say good and feed her for being here and being engaged because that is good. Good. Yes. So now that I'm seeing she's offered this command about 10 times without me prompting it, now I could go back to adding that prompt in again. Lula, sit. Yes. And be very quick to get that reward out ASAP after I say that marker word yes, so she stays enthusiastic and excited about her commands. Lula, sit. Yes. Here I actually grabbed more food and more treats from my pouch because I wanted her to understand, hey, this is better. When I'm saying a word and then you're doing it quickly, that's awesome. Hey, me waiting around and you doing a sit, that's great too, but this is really great. Lula, sit. Good. Notice I'm alternating good and yes, yes. Because at this point, I feel like we can add some value to staying in that command. She seems to be enjoying it, and she's going into it quickly. Yes. Lula, sit. Yes. So there you have it. Teaching a dog sit for the first time. Sit. Good. She had already known this command, but it was one of these dogs where you say it and then she looks at you and sometimes she sits 10 seconds later, sometimes a minute goes by, sometimes you say it 5 times or you have to pull food out. It was not consistent. Yes? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know Lula is going to get a lot of value out of this work and hopefully you and your dog will also. Remember, we don't blame them, we train them. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button or hit the like button or leave a comment below. Hope you're having a great day. And remember, if we love them, we lead them. Okay, see you next time.